Fiona here. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while, but I've been busy with other things on the computer, and you know, life gets in the way. So today I'm going to make a journal cover, and I'm going to show you how I measure to fit the pages inside the journal, and it'll be a hard cover. Okay, but first of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about the 100 days of tags. If you've been following me, you'll know that I was doing 100 tags, one tag a day for 100 days, and it's hashtag 100 days of tags. Now, I have got behind with this, but I am going to continue doing it. It just won't be consecutive days, obviously, because I've got behind. I tend to sort of overcommit myself sometimes, and yeah, then I realise that I can't fit it all in. So, but I am up to day, let's see, where's the washi tape? That's day 29. So I have done up to day 29. I just haven't uploaded all the videos yet. So I am going to continue on with that. But here on YouTube, the 100 Days of Tags videos are only shorts. They are in my shorts playlist. And if you want to download this sheet and follow along for the prompt for each day, you can download this on my website in the freebies library, or you can also download it from my Ko-fi site. Now, all my links are always in the description below the video. So that's that. Now, the other thing is, when the kits that I'm using today, well, the kit that I'm using is an older kit. It's not one of my newer ones, because I had them all printed out and ready to go, and there's quite a few kits that I haven't used yet, so I'm going to use those up first. But I will film a video probably tomorrow or later today if I can, showing you my new kits after I've printed them all out. Okay, so let's get started with this cover. Now, you can use cardstock, you can use cardboard. Cardstock will give you more of a soft cover, but you can still use it. You can use cardboard from a cardboard box, cereal boxes, things like that. And you can use chipboard, which is basically a bit like bookboard. And you can find that on the back of, you know how you get your sketch pads or things like that? The back of them always have a board. That is really good for book covers, but you can also use an old book and an old book cover, and that's what I'll be using today. But this spine is not wide enough. I'm going to have 3 signatures. So this spine for me is not going to be wide enough. So it is, let's see. Yeah, it's only 1 1/4 inches wide, or it might be 1 1/2, but 1 1/4. So for 3 signatures, that's not going to be enough. So what I need to do is cut these off completely and make my own spine. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these off, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back, and I have cut the front and back cover off, or cut the spine out. So now, before I make the new spine, I want to measure the front and back covers in relation to the signatures. So this is the easiest way to get your cover to make sure that it covers your signatures, is to do your signatures first. So I've done that, and I have about I think about 12 I usually have between 10 and 15 pages per signature if I'm doing a like a 3 signature journal. And that's plenty of pages, I think, because once you've put in all your pockets and you know, other things, bits and pieces, and you've decorated, it's going to get wider. And then if you're selling a journal or giving it away, the recipient, you know, would want to do their own things in their journal, inside the journal, and it would get even bigger. So I really don't think you need any more than about 10 to 15 pages per signature. And at least that's, you know, that's how I like to do it. I like to make my journals with lots of, you know, writing space for the person that gets the journal to make it their own. So that's the idea of it. So I'll give you a quick look at how I've put these signatures together. I don't always do it exactly the same, but pretty much the same. So in each signature, I will have 3 or 4 of the printable papers. I'll have one on the front to encase the signature, and then I will have one in the center like this. Well, there are times when I have a sort of a blank center and then I'll decorate it up, but if I can, I like to have a nice image in the center. And then I'll put 1 or 2 sort of throughout the signature as well. So what I've got here is I've got a printed page. Then I've got, this is a coffee dyed paper that I'd had a stencil on. And then this is another printed page. And I've actually printed this blank one on the back. I don't think this is in my printables. It might be, but I don't think it is. I just had it on my computer, so I printed that one on the back. Now, I would normally add more coffee dyed pages, but I had these are dyed with food colouring, and they just happen to be purple, so I put a couple of those in. And then I've got some lined foolscap paper, which I have coffee dyed. And then I've printed, I printed 1 page per signature onto tracing paper. You can use vellum if you have vellum, but I didn't have it, so I used tracing paper. So, and I've just put that in front of like this music paper that I thought would look nice with something behind it. And then I've got the music paper, and this one came out of an old book, an old hymn book, and in the center here it was quite torn, you know, after I'd ripped it out of the book. So I have strengthened those ones with washi tape. But when you glue your washi tape down, a good tip is to also use glue, because washi tape doesn't always hold on its own, particularly for something like this where it's going to be under stress, because it's going to be stitched through there. And then I've got a paper bag. I've got another purple dyed page, and I've got an envelope. I've got some craft cardstock, another purple page, and then I've got the center there, and then it's just the same on the other side. So that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just measure my signature from here onto the cover. So let's have a look. I'm just going to measure this. It should be about an 8 inches high. Yeah, my pages are 8 inches high. So for the height, I like to have about 1/4 of an inch above on the cover and about 1/4 of an inch below. So I would want my cover to be 8.5 inches tall in this case, because this is 8 inches. So whatever size your pages are, add 1 inch. And then across this way, I would normally just add on about 1/4 inch. So mine are, if I come to this page in the middle that sticks out, because I don't worry about cutting my pages even. I don't mind that they're uneven. It nearly comes to 5.5. So I would really want it to be 5 3/4. And it almost is 5 3/4. So I'm not going to cut any off this edge. I don't mind that it's a little bit bigger. Because, you know, if I put bits of lace or tabs or anything else on the edge, they're still going to be encased in the spine, in the cover. So I just need to cut down the height of these covers. And I think, actually, no, I don't think my cutting board would do it. So I'm going to get my cutting mat. And, oh, this is in centimetres. But I want it to be 8.5 inches tall, so I'm just going to mark that with a pencil here. So 8.5. And I'm just going to use my metal ruler and a craft knife to cut that down. There we go. And you don't need to press hard, you just need to do it gently, but, you know, do it as many times that you need. Okay, so it's that. Now you can, yeah, it's a little bit rough here. One thing you can do is get a block of sandpaper and just smooth that off a little bit. Like that. I'm going to be covering mine with fabric, so I'm not too bothered about that. But let's just put my signature up against that now and see what we've got. Yep, so we've got around about 1/4 inch top and bottom, so that's really good, and that's okay on that side too. So I'll go ahead and cut the other one. Okay, now as for the, sorry, I'm just moving my camera a little bit. As for the spine, now we need it to be the height of the book cover, which was 8.5 inches. And where's a piece of paper? This is how I would do my signatures. So if I've got 3 signatures, so this is my spine. I've got 1, 2, 3 signatures. Can you see that? So I've got 3 circles there, 3 signatures. I would want 1/2 inch between each signature and between the edge of the spine and this edge of the spine. It's seems like a lot, but it's not once you've got your signatures in there. So if this is 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, I have 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2 inches. So for 3 signatures, it needs to be 2 inches wide. There's my circles. 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2. So 2 inches by 8.5 inches. So let me just, I've got a piece of cardstock or cardboard. So it needs to be roughly the thickness of this thickness here of the board that you're using. And I think this cardboard it's maybe a little bit thinner, but it is roughly that thickness. If it turns out that it's looking too, you know, like there's a dip here, I would just put another piece of thin card on top of it and make it that little bit higher. But let's just cut it down first. So I want a straight edge. This edge looks reasonably straight. Maybe just cut a smidgen off here. It's just a little bit crooked. Take those little bits off and make my edge straight. Just got some little bits of paper there. Okay, so I think it's looking better. It's not actually as straight as I want it to be. I know it's only about like a hair's width, but you don't have to be this perfect. It's just bothering me a little bit there. That bit. Pull that bit off. And I think I might have made my blade go blunt from cutting that book before. That's okay. I've got other blades. This cardstock will probably actually cut in my paper trimmer, to be honest. So we'll try that first, because that would be a lot easier if it would. So I said 8.5 inches by 2 inches. Okay. Alright. Oops. Throwing it away. Now, hopefully I can put it back in, because I'm not really, I think it just clicks back in. I think. Does it? There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. Okay, so 8.5. Yep. 8.5, is that right? There we go. By 2. And I believe this is my straight edge. So I'm going going to put it what am I doing? I'm going to put it around this way. I can't think straight tonight. This is real life, guys. This is what happens in real life. Okay, so 2 inches. Okay, keep that for something else. That's our spine. So I'm not going to be, you know, sewing in the signatures in this video, but I will explain how I do that, because it'll be a hidden spine, so you won't see the stitching. So I'll show you how I make the little piece for that as well. So now we've got our little spine in. And it is a little bit, sitting a little bit flatter than these. So, doesn't matter too much. I think I'll be happier if I cut another piece of card. It doesn't matter what colour, because it will be covered up. I think I had some next to me. That's gold. I don't really want to use gold. 2 sacks. Okay, so I found a piece of purple cardstock. It's only thin, but I think, pretty sure that's all we're going to need. Just that little bit more extra height. Hang on, is that tall enough? Not quite. So let's cut this piece down to 8.5 in height. Try not to ruin my paper trimmer this time. Through 8.5. Well, it's probably kind of a good thing that that happened with the spine, so that I can show you how you can fix that. So let's go 2 inches. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces in case I need it. I mean, probably some people wouldn't even worry about this, you know, but I don't really want my book to be wonky or anything, so I think it's safer just to, you see how much more height that's given. Oh, hold all over there. How much more height that's given to this piece, and it should be able to be more in line with the height of this cardboard here. So I've got a new camera set up, and my camera keeps sort of moving. I'm hoping that you can still see me. So I'm going to quickly glue these down. Let's get my tacky glue. Okay. The first one down. That's it. And the second one. So as I said, this will all be covered, so it's no big deal what it looks like at this point, as long as I've got everything nice and straight. Okay, seems a little bit longer, but no, that's fine, that's about right. Okay, so just do that, and I can feel now in going like this, because my this thing is touching that as well, I can feel they're the same height, so that's what I want, because this was dipping down in the middle, but it's not now. Okay, so that's better. Now I'll show you how I attach my spine to my front and back cover. Let's just get rid of that for a second. Now when you do this, you want to have around about an 1/8 of an inch gap. Particularly for a hardcover journal, you want about an 1/8 of an inch gap in between these. And that's so that when you open and close the book, they're not going to butt up against each other, and you're not going to get, you know, this sort of thing happening where it gets stuck and it won't close or open properly. So yeah, you need a bit of a gap to allow for that. So I don't really measure, but you know, about an 1/8 of an inch. So I'll line them up like that. Probably I could line them up with these lines on my desk here, just to be sure. But I generally would just do it by eye. Okay, that looks about right to me. So now what I'm going to use, you have options. What I'm using to stick these together is a paper tape. So this is a like a postal packaging tape, and it's just a paper tape. But I find it really good for this. It's plenty strong enough, and particularly when you're going to cover over with paper or fabric or whatever. And because it's not really shiny, if you have to, you can ink over it and that type of thing. And the other thing is a masking tape. This is a very thin roll of masking tape. Ideally, a thicker one would be better. You could still do it with this. So that's another one. You can also ink over that. I know people use other things, such as some people actually use the proper cloth tape or something like that, but I don't have any of that at the moment. So all I'm going to do is get my tape, and if you don't trust the stickiness of your tape, just put down some glue first, but I think this one will be fine. So I'm just going to get it, and I'm going to, you might want to start on the outside, it's up to you. And now I've just moved it. Try not to do that. Okay, start again. I haven't got much room on my desk, so it makes it a bit harder. Okay, so make sure it's straight and put it straight down like that. Push it down. So then I'm able to turn this over and continue on. Now if you're worried about having the same on the outside, as I said, you could start from this side and then have the ends on the inside, but because I'm covering it with fabric, I'm not too worried about that. Okay. Just want to make sure my tape hasn't got wrinkles, too many wrinkles in it. Just make that nice and tight, iron out the wrinkles, and then we can go like that. Really smooth it out. Get the bone folder in there. And that is a really good gap there for that. See how that opens and closes? No problem. That's what you want. So now we'll do this one. Maybe about 1/8 of an inch. For those of you like me in Australia, I would say that's 2 or 3 millimeters. I know I often say work in inches on my YouTube channel, but that's only because I find the majority of my viewers and customers are actually from the US, and you know, so that's why I tend to measure things in inches, and then but let me know if there's a lot of Australians and UK. Do the UK work in I don't know if they work in metric the same as we do in Australia or not. But, if you want me to give you the centimetre measurements as well, let me know, because I don't always do that. I mean, you can Google it, obviously, but yeah, I don't mind doing that. So then we've got this one, and we can just see the tape is tough enough that it's not going to tear when I do this. And then we have a nice cover with a lovely 2-inch spine that you wouldn't even think was, you know, you'd think that was part of the book, wouldn't you? Part of the cover. Okay, so that's that bit. Now, the next thing was how, if I'm doing a hidden spine, what measurement I make my piece to actually sew the signatures to. So, if you haven't done a hidden spine before, because I know there are lots of beginners in my Facebook group and, you know, watching my channel. If you haven't done a hidden spine before, what it means is instead of sewing these straight into here and then seeing the stitching down here, I would first sew these to a piece of fabric or cardstock. In this case, it's going to be a piece of cardstock. So how we measure, now this might not be big enough, but this is an example. So how we measure for this is the cardstock would be not the height of my cover, but the height of my pages. Okay, so it needs to be 8.5. And then the width I would have the 2 inches, the spine width, plus 1 inch either side. So ideally I would want it 4 inches. Let's see what this one is. Oh, it is. It's over 4 inches. So that's what we want. And I think it is actually, it's 8.25 or 8.5 tall. So we'll use this one. Let's cut that to 4 inches. to 8.5, not 8.5, 8. So the height of the pages, not the cover. Okay. Pretty easy. So now I need my scoreboard actually. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to score. Let's get my little scoring tool. I should have, excuse me for 1 second. Here we go. Let's use the little ball tool. I think it has a scoring tool, but I don't know where it's gone. So I'm going to come in 1 inch either side and score. And then we should be left with 2 inches in the middle. So I'm going to come in at 2 inches and 4 inches. Yeah, I was thinking this is 5 inches wide, but I'm starting at 1 inch, that's why. It's okay. So 2 inches and 4 inches. There. Here. We would just finish these on the folds. And the other thing you can do is you can mitre these corners just so that you know, you can't see, well, you won't see it anyway because I'll cover it with paper, but some people like to mitre these corners, okay? I don't think I'll bother. So ideally you want this bit here to sit right in the middle of the spine so that your folds will fold in the same. This will be glued down, but you want that to be able to fold the same as your pages. Okay, so then all you need to do, you don't really probably need me to show you this, but because we've got 2 inches, we've got 3 signatures. So I'm having 1/2 inch between each signature. Let's first of all put a line down the center, which will obviously be at 1 inch. Uh, 1 inch. If I was doing a smaller spine, like, you know, if I had a 1/2 or 1/4 inch spine, or you know, sometimes for your single signature journal you may not have a spine at all as such. I would just eyeball this normally for 1 signature, but because I'm doing 3, you sort of want to make sure it's lined up. So there is 1 line for the middle signature. I would come in and mark it 1/2 inch for that one and 1/2 inch for this one. Draw my other lines. So this is going to act as a bit of a template for the signatures as well. Where's my line? There it is. And doesn't look even, does it? It's okay. And there, so now what I would do is come up here 4 inches, because that's the center, because this is 8 inches tall. 4 inches, we want a dot there for the middle one, and I'm just going to eyeball the other 2 there. And then I'm going to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, so I want 3 holes. So I'm just going to come down, let's say, 1 inch from either end, I think. 1/2 inch. I'm going to do 1 inch. So just 1 inch from either end. It's up to you how far you want to come in. But I think 1 inch is plenty good enough. So then I've got my little template. Okay, so what you would do is you sew your signatures in here. 1, 2, 3. Alright. And you can see how they're going to fit in there nicely. They'll be spread out a little bit. And what I do is I start with the back one, and I sew that one in first. So I line it up with the holes, and then I poke the holes. I mark and then I poke the holes. And then you're good to go. And you can sew, I sew this one in first, the last one. I think because I'm right-handed, so I would have this on this side, and then I would sew with this hand. So I go last one, second one, and first one on top. But I think if you were left-handed, so if you're sewing with your left hand, which is a bit hard for me to get coordinated, actually, you might do it the other way. I don't really know, but that's how I do it. And then sew them all in, glue all over the back, and sew that, glue that down to there really well. And then I'm ready to start decorating the journal. But before I put this in, of course, I would cover the journal. So just to quickly show you what I'm going to use. And then we've basically finished for this video, because I just really wanted to show you in this video how you would measure your cover for your signatures and your binding. So I'm using this is like an upholstery fabric that I found in the second-hand shop. So it's fairly sturdy. I think that's the right side there. So it's just basically a matter of putting this on here, leaving around about 1 inch all the way around, then mitering the corners and just gluing it all down, making sure that it's nice and smooth, etc. And then on the insides I'm going to put some paper or card. Okay, so that is it for this video. Thanks very much, guys, for joining me, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.